everybody. Welcome to the Ruckus Room. I'm here tonight, conservative edition, sorry, folks, with Rachel and Alan, and we're going to talk about some conservative things that are going on in the world, political. I'm going to start with Trump RX today. Rachel, Trump's going to save us some money. Did you hear about this new Trump RX program?
I did. So what Trump is doing is he's trying to make some kind of a direct sale, most favored nation status for drugs to American customers. This is all because the Democrats start flapping their gums about affordability and this kind of thing. So Trump is like, okay, well, done. Drugs are now on most favored nation pricing for Americans. And what I hear is that's driving up the prices to everyone else because we've been subsidizing with our higher prices drugs for everyone else in the whole world. So now now the playing field is a little bit evened out. And the Europeans are crying.
And what I heard was that the most favored nation thing that Trump set up was that whatever the lowest amount of any country was paying is what we now pay
on Trump RX. You
on
have
Trump
to go
RX.
there. You have Trump RX.
Trump RX. So we're paying the amount that the lowest, whatever country it was, pays.
The largest reduction.
What country do you think funds the R&D, the research and development for these drugs? What country do you think underwrites?
Well, that was us.
Yo, us all the way. Well, this is the largest reduction in prescription drug prices in history. I bet no one else is going to say that, but we're going to say it today on the show. From what I've understood and read about and heard, we're going to give Trump kudos for that. Ozempic, just Ozempic alone, it's about sometimes between $1,000 and $1,200 on the market. Yes. You know that, Alan, from those prescriptions. Those drugs are going to be under $250 a month for some people. So like all of the diabetes medications, the weight loss medications, things that people can't get. Yep. The biggest one's going to be the fertility drugs.
I don't need that.
If you ever wanted to have your wife freeze her eggs or something, Alan, you wanted babies later on in life.
No.
You're able to do that now. You know, they want all these Trump babies. So, but that's huge for people.
Another one.
It's been so unfair for people that can't conceive, that don't have the money. I mean, these are $20,000-$25,000 to do these IVF treatments and these medications and things like that on the upwards of that. And it can get costly.
It doesn't have to be like that.
No, it's insane. And we want everyone to have babies if they want to have babies, you know, and be able to be cost effective. So now this is going to allow
I also heard that insulin will be down to $25 now. So, I mean, that's incredible.
That's stuff as cheap as $25 that people have been paying $200-$300 a month for. My Jardiance has a component in it for the heart. And when I first got diagnosed with my heart issues, they wanted me to pay $950 for this prescription. Now I can get it as cheap as $27.50 on the Trump RX.
Yeah, it's
insane.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, Trump RX, it started February 5th. So you just go to the TrumpRx.com and then you look at all of the pharmacies, I guess, that offered their prices in the area. And you could go to mostly CVS, Walgreens, all of them have it. And they match. You just have to have a doctor's prescription if you want to go through Trump RX instead of the local pharmacies. But they should be able to match it, though, from what I understand.
But also, not all medication are there yet.
Not all, but they probably will be in the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that that's awesome, and kudos to Trump where he needs it. Well, it's well deserved.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of kudos to the Trumps, we're going to talk about First Lady Melania Trump. Her humanitarian win reunited at least 15 Ukrainian children since this all started she started about a year and a half ago. And you know what's weird is everyone always said Trump's relationship with Putin and blah, blah, blah. If we didn't have this relationship with Putin, I don't think she would be able to do such great work like this. This is truly beautiful what she's doing and matching these kids up with these families that have been broken up. And she's going to continue to do it for the next 3 years. And that's amazing to say the least, I think.
Well, if you saw the Melania movie, and yes, I went and saw the movie. My wife and I had date night and we went and saw the movie. Which was pretty cool. It was actually a really good movie. And looking at all the workings that had to go into getting the inauguration and all that put together.
That was the best part.
Oh, it was incredible.
We never get behind the scenes of anything in the government.
No, but this was incredible. And she was talking to, I don't remember the lady's name, but the I don't know if it was the wife of the prime minister or if it was the prime minister of France.
Yes.
And talking about the children thing.
Macron.
You're right. For all of the youth
Brigitte
and everything.
Macron.
She's trying to get more people on board to reunite more kids.
It's amazing, and she does fantastic. What I really like, what really got me excited is that Hollywood, because it's been nominated for an Oscar, Hollywood went out of their minds thinking, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this.
Just like they're going out and saying that all of a sudden the Obamas, what's her name? Obama, her Michelle. Documentary, Michelle. I know, sorry. Just drew blank for a second.
I didn't say that.
She got more ratings because in the last few weeks because of the Melania movie coming out. And I think it's just bullcrap. It's just distraction from anytime a Trump does something good, we always have to downplay it or talk bad about it. We can't just give credit where credit's due.
Here's the question. Is there a Trump RX for TDS?
You know what? I don't think should you get Trump RX discounts and all of the extra things he's got going on if you act a fool? I don't know.
I believe it's called Strychnine.
Yeah. We're going to talk about, I'm going to bring up the Save America Act, election integrity. This was huge, was passed yesterday in the House, heading to the Senate. Rachel, this is huge. You actually have to have a birth certificate and ID to vote in the U.S. right now. As of midterms, it should be taking effect.
Yeah. And no Democrats except for one voted for this.
And the reason they gave,
naturally, right?
The reason they gave is because they said it's going to disenfranchise women because it'll have the wrong name on the birth certificate.
No,
if they didn't change it when they got married.
Disenfranchise all the illegals that they still have voting for them.
Alan. But they do have a point. Women are too stupid to go get IDs. Like
I can't say that because I'd be called sexist.
I don't understand.
And we're very stupid.
Why wouldn't you want to get an ID? Like, I use mine a lot.
You need an ID for everything. This is one of those 80-20 issues where 80% agree with this and 20% come up with some harebrained idea to oppose it. Mostly it's because if this was passed, Democrats would surely probably never get elected again if there weren't loopholes for them to exploit for cheating.
Yeah.
But only one Democrat crossed the aisle. It was Cuellar of Texas crossed the aisle. And in the Senate, we've got a big uphill battle because it's passed in the House, but it's not passed in the Senate. This is
Executive order will take care of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
He wants this for the midterms. He's going to do it any way possible. It needs to be done. And I
hope so.
Here's the bullet.
I mean, again, what really needs to happen in the Senate is it takes 50 votes plus one for them to bring back the standing filibuster. People talk about the filibuster like it's a yes or no thing. But no, there is a third way, which is the way it has always been, a standing filibuster, where you have to stand there and talk in the well of the Senate and keep talking until you can't anymore. And you wear Depends and you read the phone book and you stand there until you collapse or until 60 people tell you to shut up. That's the way it's always been until like 30 years ago when they passed the silent, and this is just a rules. This is the rules that the Senate makes up for themselves. The Republicans could change it back to the standing filibuster and the way God and the founding fathers intended. And that would fix this, because then we could watch the Democrats make fools of themselves for hours upon end.
Well, they do that all the time.
Yes,
right, Alan, they do that on daily. That's why we have a podcast weekly about this. I'm going to give you some of the bullet points of it. So the bill includes proof of citizenship and registration. So you need your birth certificate, passport, or paperwork certified when you go to vote now, which never was happening in several states.
To register to vote.
Right. To register to vote. And now on voting day, you need to bring something with you, like a federal ID of some sort. It says no exceptions. You will be turned away. and they want to do this before the midterms. I want to make that this will be huge for the midterms, especially since all the illegals are going out too that voted before that are going to be, they're going to be losing Democratic votes like crazy. Mail-in ballot crackdown limits who gets them, stricter verifications processed through that, and no more mass mail-ins. Another huge thing. Push for in-person votes by doing this, they feel. And voter rolls are going to be cleared out by federal tools. No more zombie votes. California and New York are going to love this, aren't they?
We have the technology. We have the technology.
Well, yes, let me tell you, I have personal knowledge. It wasn't me, but I have personal knowledge that a person had moved away from Flagler County. 12 years they were gone. This happened a few years ago, but they had moved away for 12 years. They had turned in their driver's license, had a new driver's license in a different state, were registered and voting in a different state, and still on the rolls here. And it took several attempts, including this person contacting our supervisor of elections office multiple times before they were removed from the roll here. So this is a big problem that needs to be taken care of, and it's not just other counties or other states. It's everywhere.
Maybe we get the supervisor of elections in here to talk about the process of that and why it takes so long.
Situations like that are a vulnerability. Some dishonest actor at the ground level or at the top level can somehow use that entry to vote a ballot that shouldn't be voted and cancel out somebody else.
Yes.
So, I mean, clean voter rolls are so important because the dirty ones represent, tremendous vulnerability. We've got to clean that up. And
well, we had people
for it. In
we had people on our roll here that were over 114 years old.
Oh, that's right. Everywhere. Yeah, I remember you have dead people voting too, remember?
Oh.
Yeah.
So that'll be all handled.
For Doge figuring that out,
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, people complain about Doge because they haven't actually done anything, but you forget that wasn't their job to do anything about it. They were supposed to expose what needs to be done.
Right.
And then pass that information along. They were just gathering information.
Well,
That's
I'm
how they got access
to
see all these places.
If this actually does pass and midterms come around, what states actually comply with this? Because California and New York are going to go nuts over this.
Well, I would say if they don't
and
comply,
Minnesota,
their
because
votes don't count. Besides
fraud, they got a lot of voter fraud up there coming up. I'm telling you, that's what's next up there. That's what's next up there. I have a feeling you're going to find a lot of voter fraud in that Minnesota area.
I mean, keep in mind that this is an existential crisis for the left.
For
Democrats.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
They will pull out all the stops. Have you heard? I heard on a podcast. I forget which one. I think it was Tim Pool. Somebody said if a hacker, it's about the hacker culture. If you're not cheating, you're not really trying.
Well, that sounds like a typical politician. Am I right?
On the left, yeah. I mean,
I watched it happen.
To be fair.
Yeah, to be fair, we will. Well, I'm going to switch gears real quick, and we're going to talk about the Epstein files.
Oh, boy.
Folks, the old news is 2026. This is going to blow the lid off because millions of fresh files have just been released, courtesy of President Trump Transparency Act, emails, photos, and videos exposing these sick webs of billionaires, celebrities, politicians who partied with that disgusting monster. I think the deep state has been saving each other. Another reason why Trump has been elected in office. Biden had how many years? 4 to come out and release these files, and he never did because most of these people on the list are donors of that left party or part of the left party, may I add. And it's just amazing to me now. Bill Clinton flew 26 times on that jet to that private island. And it's amazing how they tried to slide it. I know, right? Tried to slide it and hide it like it wasn't going to come out. And that's why I think the left is losing their mind because they can't do anything now because, again, Biden had 4 years in his presidency to release these files and he never did. So Trump being transparent as much as he is, just like with Melania's documentary, going into the background, showing you all this. Now you're getting your files, people, and now they're going nuts.
I'll tell you, one of the things that I would like to see that didn't happen is the files are released, but there's a lot of heavy redaction in it. Now, I think any of the women's names and identification things, whatever might be in there, should be redacted.
That's why.
But the perpetrators' names, no. They should be right out there in the open.
Well, Jay-Z and Bill Clinton are head like two at the top up there. Prince Andrew, Victoria's Secret's Les Wexner, Leonardo DiCaprio.
Chrissy, what do you think about the supposed victims coming forward with this Reid Hoffman plea for them to release more information? Meanwhile, these victims, like, they could just say who victimized them. Like, they can do that at any time. It doesn't require congressional acts.
They could have done that this whole time, including through other presidencies.
And now Elon Musk has removed all excuses. You know, the excuse was, well, we'll be sued to oblivion if we come forward with accusations that we can't prove because we don't have proof, even though it did happen. We just have our testimony, right? But Elon Musk has said, I'm going to fund your legal battles. You know, just tell us who did this. Who?
Yeah, I don't know about this, guys, but I feel like this is just a little pin that just got the balloon popped. And I have a feeling it's downhill for here between charges getting pressed, people getting pressed, Bill Clinton's having to talk, Hillary's having to talk. And I'm really curious to see why you were on his jet 26 times.
Now, I think that, like I said, anybody's name that's on that list other than potential, victims, and they can come forward if they want to. And some of them may not want to relive it all, but so their names should be redacted. But everybody else, their names should be out in the open. But the one thing that we really have to be careful of is we got to watch out for simple guilt by association. Because if we were to go along with that, then Trump would be guilty because at one point they were friends. So we have to make sure that we have a little bit more information and dig a little bit deeper than simply somebody's name.
I don't think that anybody's guilty by association, but if you're going to his private island where a lot of this stuff went down at 26 times as the ex-president of the United States, and he was in the White House 12 times during Bill's presidency.
Pregnancy?
Pregnancy. Yeah, I guess who knows what he did with Monica, but and that's the other thing. Who could believe a damn word he says? I mean, anything that comes out of that mouth is not credible at all.
No, I agree with you.
Well, just like half the people on that list.
Here's the thing about the Epstein files and this massive
Hakeem Jeffries got money from him.
Well, but Tony Hawk, the surfboarder, is on the list, and that's not fair. It's because it was some fever dream of a crazy person, and they called it into the FBI or whatever, and it ends up in these files because it's something they had to investigate. But it was a hallucination by an insane person. Tony Hawk was married in Fiji, not in the Bahamas. It's provably false. And there's a lot of stuff in there that is provably false. It's just an accusation that they had to run down. And they did run it down. And it's not true. But it's still in the files. So
that's what I'm saying. Guilt by association. Have to be careful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know, though.
Be careful.
Yeah, that list is really long. And it's going to be interesting to see what they find out from the videos and photos and different things of what actually went down. And those poor kids, though, like as a parent, I would be whooping someone's, what. I can't even imagine what those kids went through or those women. And I'm glad that Trump finally got the ball rolling to actually have transparency where the other president would not do that. And things are starting to come up. But like I said, I think the balloon just popped. And I think there's going to be so much coming out of this soon.
As far as parents, though, I think the point is those kids did not have parents, or they had absent parents, or, drug addicted. These were West Palm Beach kids, I think, who were from the wrong side of the tracks, quite literally. And they were vulnerable and exploitable, and he exploited them. So, I mean, they're still human beings, and it's horrible what happened to them. But they need to speak out. They need to do the right thing and come forward and tell their story. I don't know what the downside is to that. I really don't.
What do you
Come
think
forward.
what do you think about President Biden not releasing this during his presidency at all when he had 4 years to do that and help these victims and children and everybody out? I feel like the swamp was protecting the swamp.
Yeah, it's because I think there's more Democrats than Republicans on that list, frankly. And
yeah, there is.
Whatever you think about transparency, these files, the information collected, this is leverage. Whoever has access to this information and is not releasing it has leverage to release it if you don't do what I say. So, right or wrong, I think that's probably some of the hesitation is because now Trump is in charge of the DOJ and in charge of the files and the information wherein. And I think it's possible, you know, I mean, he's a populist, he's a pragmatic kind of guy. Maybe he's thinking, I don't know, I'm spitballing here. Maybe he's thinking that he can use this information to pull the levers on people that he needs to do things. Right?
Yeah.
And if you collapse the whole system, like if everybody's in the list, and so everybody needs to be purged out of power, then you've got this massive vacuum. And what do you do with that? Like, who comes in? And now somebody, suddenly no one has any leverage over anybody. And maybe that's what we want. Maybe that's the best thing for the long term, for people to just be doing the right thing for the right reasons, ideally. Maybe that is the case. Maybe it's not the case. But in any case, maybe Trump was in a better position to get his agenda through before this release than after. Nonetheless, I am in favor of releasing. Like, let's find out. Let's turn on the lights and let's
turn it all. Yeah, let it off.
Let the chips fall.
You know, and no one's mentioned Hakeem Jeffries took money from Epstein after he was convicted. I don't understand how that man gets up and talks badly about Trump at all when he actually has money in his kitty from a pedophile and a sick individual like this. Like,
how much money was it? A lot?
I don't know how much, and I'm going to look that up. But I did hear that before we got into the show today. So we're going to
fund for the victims. Do that.
Yeah, I will definitely. Tom Homan, did you see him today do that press conference about Minnesota?
I did not. He did a press conference today.
Well, he announced that today is the end of the aggressive Operation MedSurge. And he doesn't, they're still going to go after the illegals, especially the violent ones. Okay, that part's not over, but they are withdrawing some of those people that went in there for extra help to help out ICE. And so
700? Is it more than 700?
No, because they already got rid of a couple hundred apparently the last few weeks. But if you notice, since he's been in there, we haven't heard boo. You don't have a mayor crying. You don't have Tim Walz on there. You don't have anybody boo-hooing for attention on the social media. You're not talking about really the protests anymore because they're handling it differently on the streets. And there actually more cooperation going on at the state level. And they're talking to the feds now. He's apparently talked to all the jails in the area. None of them have said they would not cooperate with him, and they all have been.
Oh, they better.
What do you think about that? I think it's amazing.
That's all they ever needed. That's all they ever needed was for the jails and the courthouses to just cooperate and release to ICE the people in their custody that had removal orders that were here illegally that needed to go back. But
they needed diversions for fraud investigations.
Yeah, he's really going after the worst of the worst still. But if you're found here illegally, they still are going to deport you. And Rachel, I wanted to ask your opinion on this because I know you kind of, you think a little different than us, and that's great. And that's why I'm asking your opinion on this. What do you think about the illegal that's not the heavy criminal, but is here still illegally? Do you still think that's a crime? Because that seems to be a huge topic, especially in Congress today when they were talking.
Yeah. I know that there is a lot of support out there for the abuelas, like the people that are cleaning your house that are here illegally and They're just trying to make a better life. But here's the thing. Those people are still an exploitable resource for voter fraud. Democrats didn't used to think this way about illegals. I mean, you go back to Obama and Hillary, they talk like full-blooded MAGA.
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to illegals and
they were going to deport you. They were going to do everything. You were going to get fined. I remember those comments and those little conferences and calls they had.
But did they do it?
I do wonder if there should be some sort of path for amnesty for some of these people, not all of these people. But if you've been here 35 years, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of squatters' rights, some kind of adverse possession justification for letting these people stay. On the other hand,
they're not real American citizens, though. Like, they shouldn't be able to vote who is our next president if you're not a real citizen of the United States. Like, Americans should be able to vote for Americans, and that's 100%. Basically why the other order was put in place.
Voting is a privilege of American citizens. It is not a human right. It is not a human right. Right.
One of the things I'd like to say there is, and I agree with you, Rachel, if you've been here for an extended period of time and have not been involved in any other type of illegal activity, because you're already here illegally, so you have that. But if you've been here for a period of time and you haven't committed any other crimes, and you've been trying to do whatever it is because you came for a better life, those people, I agree, should be set aside somehow and given the opportunity to fast track. Yeah.
What about them taking jobs from Americans, like real American citizens? Because right now, the job market, it's hard. It's really hard for people that are American citizens to find jobs because a lot of illegals have their jobs right now.
Well, one of the things that goes along with that. Yeah, one of the things that goes along with that, though, is because they're illegals, they're not paying them the proper wages. So, those people aren't going to complain about it.
And they're not paying taxes.
Right, yeah. So, but there should be a process for those people that are here illegally, but working and not getting in trouble. Those people, if we could fast track them somehow and give them the opportunity to become a citizen, then they would be paying taxes. The right to vote might come a little later, but they could become a productive member of society instead of dodging the bullet all the time and being exploited by lower wages.
And to your point, Alan, what you're talking about is an informal economy versus a formal economy. And when you've got a black market or a gray market in labor, you've got an informal economy which opens the door to all kinds of exploitation. You pay them less, and who are they going to complain to? You don't have to comply with OSHA. There's all kinds of regulations and tax things that employers can cut corners in hiring these people. And so there's a big draw. I mean, these people, are they going to take sick time? Are they going to get the same kinds of workers' rights that the formal economy has? So I just believe in a level playing field for everybody. And, maybe the regulations are too much. The taxes are too much. Maybe OSHA is too oppressive. There's too much regulation. Fair. Well, let's bring all of that down and create a level playing field for everybody. And let's not have anybody be informal. And that also means, like, if you're coming here because you're going to work hard. You're not coming here to suck off the teat of the Americans. You're not coming here for welfare benefits. You're coming here to work, to integrate. You're going to learn English. You're going to be an American. And then, welcome with open arms. But let's all have a fair, level playing field where everybody has a chance.
I like in Florida now that the, to get your driver's license and so forth.
That's to be English.
All the tests and everything have to be in English now. You have to assimilate into society in order to move forward.
Because if you're going to drive, you need to be able to read the signs. Come on.
Now that you're talking about that, the DOT new ruling about unvetted foreign drivers from truckers. just passed too. If you saw that fresh safety wins under Trump, he now has that put approved where you do have to take English exams, be a legal citizen, and go through the proper vetting, unlike they were doing in California under Bozo.
Yeah.
And they're just getting licenses and can't read any signs. And I don't know how many people have died on the roads because of it. It's ridiculous. So, to talk about that just passed too. So there's going to be a lot of changes coming up that people are not going to like.
Yeah, if the midterms don't go our way, then those changes are going to be quickly reversed or stalled out.
Which is going to stink. Yeah, for sure. I wanted to close out the show today with this little thing. I got a comment over the weekend, this lady, that I spread hate because I like Trump, or I talk about Trump on the show. And I said this before, Rachel, I don't agree with everything that Trump does, but we should have an opinion, me, you, and Alan, in different ways, and express that without being considered hate because it's our opinion. And I wanted to know your feelings on that subject because I literally, because we talk about a conservative show, we just spew hate, apparently. And I thought that was interesting.
Why can't we recognize nuance? Why can't we be happy about some of
That's why we're loved today.
Some of the efforts that are going on, and we don't necessarily have to be pigeonholed into cheerleading for everything, and vice versa. Like why can't we just make up our minds? And everything is not black and white. There's a lot going on, and we're all just human, including the people in the administration.
And that's the thing. You look at these hearings, the only hate I see is coming from is the left when they grill these people. I don't know about you, Alan. Do you see, there's just venom coming out? A lot of the hate also comes from that side. And they're not taking any accountability for that.
My electric bill is going down because I'm now heating my house with hate. It's just... It's coming at me that way.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Can you believe that you can't have an opinion because your opinion, if someone doesn't agree with it, it's considered hate?
Oh, I mean, I did a post. I did a Facebook post the other day about.
I saw those comments.
I don't remember what it was about, but oh yeah, they went nuts.
I got paid off that lady's comment, by the way, just like Alan got paid off the nut ones.
Don't tell him. Don't tell
No,
them.
it's funny. No, I just think it's...
We get monetized off their comments, so let them comment.
No, but I just can't believe you can't have an opinion without someone saying you have hate. Just like the whole thing with the halftime show. Not a big fan of Big Bunny just because I don't know Spanish that fluently, and some of the lyrics that I've heard in some of his songs I don't think are family appropriate for a halftime show.
Okay, your kids couldn't understand him anyway.
My kid, and when you look at half the crowd, a lot of them weren't even dancing because they didn't even understand the music. I watched the TPUSA halftime, but I did go back and watch the show. That's not my cup of tea. It's some other people's cup of tea. But it's not like we have to spew hate about it. We can tell our opinion that we didn't like it. It's not hate, though. And these people are going on, you're so hateful, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, my problem with the Bad Bunny halftime show was just off-brand,
It was. It wasn't very family-oriented. A lot of
Bud Light.
body... yeah.
You'd think they'd have figured that out from Bud Light.
And even using the kid, the dad left in the snowbank to flee from ICE. He left the kid standing there. Thank God ICE reunited him with that kid so he could get the Grammy at that halftime show. But we're going to treat it like ICE did something really bad. Like their 15 minutes of that broadcasting.
Detained a kid.
I know, right? The 15 minutes that you had, Trump is still your president the next day. So I don't know what you actually thought that was going to do by that. You know what I'm saying? And did it make you feel better? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. I just don't get it. We're going to restore common sense in 2026, Alan.
Yeah, if it actually existed.
Well, that's a wrap for today's show, folks. Thank you, Rachel, for joining us. Thank you, Alan, for coming in. And we hope to see you guys next week on the conservative edition of the Ruckus Room. Have a great night.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.